My name's Robert Pickin. I'm almost 70 now, and I live on the Liberty Road, which is only 1 mile away from this industrial commercial development. So I'm here today to show support to Stop the Drill campaign to see if we can possibly get this stopped.
I'm a local resident from the Liberty Road. I lived here, I've reared my family here, and I'm very concerned about what's going on. I'm even more concerned that our local councillors and members of Parliament are not even here to discuss with us these issues. We have not been informed, and it's just horrendous to think of what could happen to the water supply, not only of Carrick, Newtonabbey and Belfast. I wonder if the people are really aware, and it's our business now to raise the profile and make everyone fully aware of what they're doing here for money.
No one can guarantee that there will not be spillages and water contamination which will affect the drinking water both above ground and below the ground.
I think this is absolutely astonishing, to come to part of the United Kingdom where you have a company drilling for oil where there's no planning permission being granted, no engagement with the local community, very little information available to the local community about what's going on. There's trees being felled without a tree felling licence, no environmental impact assessment, no planning permission, and this all in a very critically important watershed as well. This is on land owned by Northern Ireland Water, and yet they've allowed this to go ahead when actually they should be protecting the drinking water for people in Northern Ireland. I find it absolutely astonishing that this can be happening in a part of the United Kingdom. How is it being allowed to go ahead?
Obviously, if this is in your own back garden, you're going to be more immediately concerned, but I think people are starting to get more aware that the water potentially at risk with this drill, if it goes ahead, is a large part of what Belfast is drinking. So it's not just an immediately local issue, it's actually a bigger issue, and it does also obviously raise the even larger questions around why are we even looking for fossil fuels in the first place during a time of unprecedented climate change when the rest of the world is actually saying no, we need to keep fossil fuels in the ground, we need to transition in a fair way to a new economy, and we're again seemingly as always stuck in the past.
Well, this is a forest that my husband and I would walk quite regularly. We would be up maybe 4 times a week with our dogs walking, and I bring my children up at the weekend. We go out round looking, they look for the wildlife. It's quite disturbing to think of what they're doing to the wildlife here. If you listen, I don't think you can hear any birds at the moment, and they haven't even started the drilling and the work, so heaven knows what it's going to be like by the time they finish.
This certainly was a right-of-way granted to the public by the water service with their consent, and now you have this development company coming along, and they just dictate we can fence off the right-of-way and deny the public and the locals access to it.
There's a little pond that runs down the far side. It's not that big, but it's a hive of activity. Kids loved it, looking for the tadpoles, watching, and it's been nicknamed Boatman Pond because of the little boatmen and the stuff that goes on. It's nature. Our kids learned so much from it. I knew nothing about birds, and I still don't, but I met a local gentleman a few years ago whilst walking through, and he pointed out buzzards to me, he pointed out barn owls. He says if you're very lucky you'll see them, and I have been very lucky that so far I see them on a regular basis. There's buzzards, barn owls, all sorts of stuff going on in there. There's been reports even possibly of pine martens. For me it's gut-wrenching that I have to sit up there and watch money people coming in to destroy our country. But not only that, the local people, they stand to lose at least 50% of the value of their property overnight. There's a woman lives less than 200 metres from the site. Would you buy her house? Certainly not. And she's lived there 40 years. She's just recently lost her husband. And she's in a situation where at night she's hearing all sorts of strange noises going on. Strange people walking up and down past her house. She's 82 years old. Why should she be subject to that? Why should our community be subject to that? And there's much bigger issues going on within the political arena within Northern Ireland that need addressing.
I live in Cambridge in England, and I've had solar panels on my roof for the last 2 years. Absolutely fine, no complaints from neighbours or anything, of course. But I've recently done an attic conversion, so we've changed the roof line a little bit to a flat roof, and because of that, to put the solar panels back on the flat roof, I'm now waiting for planning permission before I can put the solar panels back on my house. Here, in another bit of the United Kingdom, you have an oil company exploring for oil in a beautiful area that is valued by local people in a watershed with no planning permission, and you have the authorities and the police defending the site from local people rather than defending it from this company that's causing this devastation here without planning permission. The world's gone mad. This is absolute madness. And why is it that our government, why is it that the Northern Ireland devolved authorities are not taking action to stop this? This is completely wrong, and it seems incongruous that in one part of the UK you need planning permission to put solar panels in your house, and another bit of the UK you don't need it to explore for oil in a beauty spot. Public utility water companies, of course they should be acting in the public interest. Their job is not to act in the private interest, and that seems to be what they're doing here. And I also find it interesting that we have the police here stopping local people going on the site. Actually, if anything, the police should be stopping the company going on the site.
This is a massive turnout at the moment during the day. Why do we need so many police to allegedly keep the peace? Any peace that's being kept is being kept by ourselves.
I use this road very frequently to drive out with horse-drawn carriages. With these strange heavy goods vehicles coming on site, it now means if I come along the road, there is a great potential risk for personal injury or injury to the horses themselves. The horse doesn't understand, certainly on a narrow road, if a heavy goods vehicle comes and air brakes go off, the horse's natural instinct is a natural instinct of flight. So we do have to be concerned. Now, I have raised today with one of the inspectors on site here these concerns, and the inspector understands the concerns we have, and he has taken my name, telephone number and all, and he will get back to us, or he will raise our concerns both at a policing level and also with Infrastrata, the culprit who is causing us all this grief.
And what do you think about Infrastrata?
I personally, I couldn't say it on camera.
It's a company that you probably have never heard of, and that aren't a huge name like Shell or BP, but it's an oil and gas company called Infrastrata that exists in the realm of simple press statements and under the radar, operating under the radar largely. I think that's one of the issues about why this is going on in the way it is going on.
Unfortunately, I can't tell you anything about the company because they did not give us the chance to come and speak to them and negotiate and hear what they had to say. So I can only tell you from what I can read about them on the internet. And at the end of the day, my concerns would be that if this is another one of these fly-by-night companies, if anything goes wrong, who's left to pick up the pieces, who's left to fix our water supply, and who's there to make sure everything will be fine again.
And after 3 or 4 weeks now, with the protest at this side, how are you feeling at the minute?
I'm actually feeling very confident and quite upbeat. I think it's very important for everyone to realise that the protest is actually growing in its stature. People are becoming more aware. Facebook, because of some of the MPs' comments and things, which has created a lot of anger. People are now responding and beginning to wonder what this is all about. And as you can see behind us at the moment, there's quite a bit of activity of large lorries going in to what was once a small track going through. Now it's almost a full-sized road. I think they'll be putting speed bumps on it shortly, and maybe even perhaps a zebra crossing.
When I was last here, the camp was actually at the other side. There was no road here. It was really a path that if you were driving by, you wouldn't even notice it unless you were already looking for it. There was less police presence, and there was obviously a lot less noise and clear development going on. So I feel alarmed in that sense, in that things are happening and they seem to be happening quite quickly. But I'm also confident in our chances of preventing this from happening.
And what are the chances now?
I think they're quite high. I'm not sure how much we can actually say, but it has been challenged on multiple levels, and I think the important, or a way that we can help, and the way that this hopefully is helping, is contributing to raising the profile of it and challenging it in the public consciousness, just to get people from Belfast up and new people at the site to see what's going on for themselves.